be focusing on specific strategies that you can use for reading and writing with students that may be having difficulty. And specifically, we decided to focus on dyslexia. So let's take a look at Crystal and what we can do to help her in her specific reading difficulties.
Here we go. Here's Crystal. Crystal, oh my God, you did such a great job on getting the name on your paper already. So, I had a question. What are the couple of words that we've been talking about today? I mean, the couple of letters we've been talking about today.
These two.
What two letters are those?
T.
T, good job. And what's the one right below it?
That's D.
D, yes, I'm glad you remembered. So, we got to make sure you remember what the sound that each of those make is. So, D, what kind of sound does D make?
This one?
Yes.
D. Da, da, da.
Yeah, duh. And what's a word that you know that starts with the duh that can help you remember? Because we're going to draw pictures.
D, like dad.
Dad would be perfect. So let's see if we can help you create a visual to remember the sound that's related to the letter D. I'm going to write dad on your paper for you. So you have dad there. How can we make that look like a picture of a dad so you remember what sound D makes next time you forget?
Like a face? Like I could make like a dad
Yeah, perfect.
Face. He's happy.
A happy dad. Perfect. Do you want to give him some hair too? So you won't forget him? So we know next time you look at D, you can make a dad, and then you can try and remember what sound D makes, right?
Dad.
Perfect. All right, now we have to do the same thing for T. What kind of sound does T make?
T.
This one's a little bit more difficult. A little tricky.
T.
So what is a word that you can use to make a picture that will help you remember the sound for the letter T?
Well, my dog has a tail. Tail?
Tail would be perfect. So let's see you draw a tail that kind of looks like the letter T.
My dog's tail looks like this.
Okay, so watch this. We have a T, you made a tail, and then you can cross it over, and that looks very similar to this T down here. Can you see how they look almost exactly the same?
Yep.
And then we'll just write the whole word tail right there to help you remember.
They all have tails.
They do all have tails. That's a very good observation. Okay, so now that we know we can remember the sounds that go with each of the letters, let's see if we can write them on your paper on the bottom there. So here's your feely letters that we've been using each week, right?
They're scratchy.
They're scratchy. They have some kind of texture to them, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if we can start right where the dot is. We're going to practice making our letter T with our fingers.
A dot.
Start the dot and you use the arrows to go around. And then go all the way up and all the way back down. That is perfect. Now let's see if you work on this letter. Which letter was this?
Tail.
Tail, which starts with the letter
T.
Perfect. Okay, now start at the dot at the top. And then follow the arrows. You can't go off the page, so you're going to have to go right to the next arrow. Cross it right over. Perfect. Do you want to practice with your pencil to see if we can get used to writing it?
Okay. Dot, and then around, up, and down.
Okay, and then let's try and write that on your paper then, and then we'll come to the T.
Okay. Round, up, down. Round, up, down.
Okay, you want to practice one more time? I'm glad your circle is joining
Around,
the top.
up, down.
Good job. Now let's try and see if we can do the T. Let's practice one more time with your pencil on there.
Okay. Dot, and go down, stop, and then here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like that.
Yep. Okay, now let's carry that over to your paper.
Do I have to make a tail like this?
You know what? In our handwriting, you do make a tail like that. So you can add it on, just like you drew the tail earlier.
Okay.
And cross it over. Let's do one more for practice. Oops. Wow, you are an A+ student. And these are the strategies that we would use to help any student who had difficulties in reading and writing, learning phonics, and especially dyslexia.